Donald Trump has been doing a lot of rallies over the last few days, building up into the midterms, campaigning for different people. I, of course, did travel with a couple, my producer and then a friend, all the way up to Pennsylvania to cover his Latrobe, Pennsylvania rally, where I did some insane interviews with Trump supporters that we'll be taking a look at later. But I want to take a look at just kind of some key moments from a few of these rallies. I can't do a bunch because yikes, listening to them that much, but we'll take a look at a few here that I found particularly notable. The first is in Iowa. He very clearly is just saying that he's running, practically. You know, this is as close as you can get without just saying it explicitly for president in 2024.
Did much better the second time than I did the first, getting millions more votes in 2020 than I got in 2016, and likewise getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now, in order to make our country successful and safe and glorious, I will very probably do it again, okay? Very probably.
He will very probably do it again. It's a strange way to word that. Next, super vile take on Nancy Pelosi right now in light of everything that's happened recently. Take a look at this.
Ran for office, and I end up getting impeached. This was just a cabal. This was just a group of people where crazy Nancy Pelosi, by the way, how's she doing lately? How's she doing? Where crazy Nancy Pelosi has the votes.
So while calling her crazy Nancy Pelosi, he says, in almost a joking tone of voice, how's she doing recently? How's she doing? You know how she's doing. Some person who subscribed to a bunch of radical right-wing conspiracy theories broke into her house, beat her husband with a hammer, and wanted to get her and break her kneecaps. You know how she's doing right now. So disgusting. As we talked about a lot, at some point, there has to be a line in a political system, no matter how divided you feel like you are, and political violence and the condemnation of it when it happens and the self-checking when maybe your rhetoric contributed to it is key. And we've lost that on the right. It's really scary. Here's him talking about the 2020 election needs to be overturned still in his mind. First of all, of course, there's no evidence to the reasons he would cite for it needing to be overturned. But even despite that, there's not a process to overturn elections 2 years out. Crazy.
And your all Democrat, mostly, I think just about all Democrat Supreme Court, said you can't do it anymore. I said, what about 2020? Overturn the election. You should overturn. And it's not just here. It's other states were just as bad and in some cases worse.
Just overturn it. Just take it, point at the Facebook posts that prove fraud, and overturn the election. It's really not that complicated. Here is him talking about the Mar-A-Lago raid.
It's a weaponization. We have a weaponized Department of Justice and a weaponized FBI, including, of course, the very famous raid on Mar-A-Lago and the document hoax case, which violated my Fourth Amendment rights and something that has never been done to another.
It absolutely did not violate his Fourth Amendment rights. They went through the correct process to get a warrant to conduct the raid because of the potential crimes he was committing.
No other president's ever done this. Presidents leave, they take things, they take documents, they take things, they read them. Nobody else has ever gone through this. This is a charade. They fail. So
it's funny. When you listen to a Trump speech and then you talk to Trump supporters at a Trump speech, you realize how his mouth to their brain things run. Because I talked to, as we'll look at for our YouTube viewers in a different segment, but for our full show viewers that you can access by going to patreon.com/LukeBeasley. If you are watching this on YouTube, quick plug there. We'll go over this, which is one of the guys immediately when I talk about the Mar-a-Lago raid saying, well, Barack Obama, something. And I had to, number one, fact check him and say, actually, no, that was a National Archives rented out facility, correct process. But also even separate from that, wait. Does all of your analysis of any particular legal issue have to be compared to other things? You have to point and whataboutism everything? Really? I'm asking you about how you feel about the fact that he did have documents, the National Archives did request multiple times for them, and he did not comply. Why is it impossible? Oh, Hunter Biden though, what about him? Hillary Clinton, what about her? Talk about what we're talking about here. But then you actually look into the things they cite, and there's a complete misunderstanding. One of them is, George Bush or H.W. Bush brought all their documents to this warehouse or something, and you find out, oh, no, that was the National Archives holding these documents. And then some can be given to the president for their library or something like that through the correct process. You don't get to make that decision as just, Trump. Oh, I'm just going to grab whatever national security secrets I like and keep them. No, there has to be some sort of process, as I think we can all agree. Here's the end of one of his rallies where it just starts pouring rain, and it was a little awkward.
To Mar-A-Lago. And just 2 years ago, we had Iran, China, Russia, and North Korea in check. And they weren't going to do a thing against us. Not a thing. Not a thing.
Not a thing. So that's fun, getting poured on. Here's Dr. Oz getting invited on stage at the Pennsylvania rally that I was at and saying, tomorrow when the Steelers play, the NFL team, X, Y, and Z, making some recommendation to the viewers, but missing the fact that the Steelers weren't playing. And the only reason why this is funny, it's not gaffes to me or, misspeaks or misunderstandings of cultural references or whatever it is. I honestly rarely care about. The reason why this is funny is because time and time again, Dr. Oz gets called out for not being a real Pennsylvanian, right? Not being someone who actually is in touch with the people or the culture of Pennsylvania, because he is a New Jersey guy. But then it seems like he just pretended to be a Pennsylvania individual or loyal in some kind of way so that he could run for Senate there, which is a little icky, I think, when people do that. And he's been called out for it. And time again, he shows that he is just told things by his staff probably to try to seem like a local. And he always messes it up, as is beautifully exemplified here.
Of Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz, please come up.
Tomorrow morning, when you awaken, I want you to contact 10 people. Do it at church, do it before the Steelers game, just find the time. And here's the question you're going to ask them.
So, the Steelers weren't playing. Whoopsie daisy. Again, you don't have to know to be a good senator if the Steelers are or aren't playing. But time and time again, it's funny to watch Oz mess up in an attempt to come off as a Pennsylvania local. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.